Oral questions by members.
The Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Luke Dickinson's family receives disability assistance. His spouse, Katie, works part-time, and they keep the $1,000 per month they're entitled to under the provisions of the earnings exemption in British Columbia. Luke and Katie found out in the past couple of weeks that they're pregnant, expecting their third child. Delightful news for them. They advised the Ministry of Social Development of that fact, and the ministry asked if Katie was going to be receiving maternity leave benefits. When she responded in the affirmative, as is her right, 15 weeks of maternity benefits to anyone in Canada and more to those who have the benefit of a union position. She was shocked to learn that the government of British Columbia will be clawing back those maternity benefits. So my question to the Premier is, does she believe that families that are entitled to maternity benefits should have those resources clawed back by the government of British Columbia?
Madam Premier.
Here's what I believe, and here's what 2 years ago British Columbians gave us our marching orders to do. They said that they wanted a government that was going to go out there and create jobs all across the province, attract investment that was going to mean new opportunities for people at all income levels, at all strata of society, in all regions of the province. We are delivering on that. The next thing the British Columbians said that they wanted us to do was to make sure that we go out there and we support them in getting the training that they need to be able to fill those jobs. That's a role that unions play. It's a role that the private sector plays, but most of all, it is a role that government plays a critical part of in making sure that people here, British Columbians, have the skills that they need to be first in line for the jobs in British Columbia that all that investment is beginning to create. And we are delivering on that. And the third thing was, Madam Speaker, people said, leave more money in our pockets, keep taxes low, keep British Columbia affordable. We are delivering on that. We have a lot more to do. But Madam Speaker, 2 years ago today, British Columbians gave us their marching orders, and we are delivering for them.
The Leader of the Official Opposition on a supplemental.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker. As with everything the Premier says, you've got to check against delivery. You've got to look at the facts. And although I'm sure the Premier might acknowledge that she completely missed the substance of the question, I can't resist the notion that somehow the BC Liberals are leaving more money in people's pockets when BC hydro rates are going up, ferry rates are going up, ICBC rates are going up, camping fees are going up, adult basic education fees are going up, on and on. But I stand corrected. Millionaires are getting a tax break. That's what we get from this one. So although the millionaire families first policies of the BC Liberals are evident to anyone to see, I would like to focus on the Dickinson family for a moment, because the Dickinson family gets $1,490 for a family of 4 on disability assistance. Put in Katie's $1,000 that she's entitled to under the earnings exemption. Out of that, they have to pay $1,325 to rent their apartment in Maple Ridge, leaving them $165 for food, clothing, and other necessities. Now, Katie's pregnant with a third child. That's an exciting opportunity for any family. Anyone who's been a parent understands that. Will the Premier put this family first and end the clawback of maternity benefits that the BC Liberals have been doing for the past 14 years?
Madam Premier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, what I can't believe is that this member would stand up and pretend that he cares about affordability and about poverty in British Columbia. The government that he advised for 10 years,
Members, the members of this House will come to order.
The government that he advised for 10 years had double the rates of child poverty in British Columbia. We have worked very hard to reduce those child poverty rates over the last decade in the province. We had the highest income taxes anywhere in Canada. British Columbians were poorer with respect to the amount of money that government took from them on the days when he was advising government, certainly than they are today. British Columbians pay amongst the lowest taxes. If you're under $122,000, you have more money in your pocket after taxes than anybody else in Canada. British Columbians no longer have to leave. When he was supporting the previous government, 50,000 people had to flee the province. Things have changed, Madam Speaker. British Columbians are coming home. They're coming home because we believe in leaving money in people's pockets, in giving them the skills that they need to be able to take advantage of opportunities, and attracting the investment that is going to create those opportunities, not just for them, but for their children and grandchildren for the future.
Leader of the Opposition on a further supplemental.
Only a leader of a government completely out of touch with the public could say giving a tax break to millionaires and taking money away from people on disability when they have the good news of having a child coming into their family is absolutely outrageous. Completely and utterly out of touch. The question, Honourable Speaker, through you to the Premier, the affable Premier, the jolly but perhaps sometimes incoherent Premier is this. Will she do the right thing? Will she do the right thing and stop taking away maternity benefits from mothers when they need them most? Why don't we put mothers on disability on the top of the list, put the millionaires down a couple of steps?
May I remind all members that it is possible to disagree in this House without resorting to personal attack. Madam Premier.
Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to assure the honourable member across the way that while he may think I am jolly, I certainly can do math. Madam Speaker, and the math is this. The math is this. Under the NDP, we had the highest income taxes anywhere in Canada. We had the highest child poverty rates by far anywhere in Canada. We saw a New Democrat government that drove up unemployment to rates that were historically the highest in our provinces, amongst the highest in our province's history. And British Columbians had to flee in order to find jobs, to flee this beautiful place, the most beautiful place in Canada, because the NDP had killed the economy that we all depend on. We take a very different approach. We have three principles. The first is to work hard to attract investment to create jobs. The second is to make sure that British Columbians have the skills that they need through government-provided training to take those jobs. And the third is to get out of their way. Leave as much money in their pockets as we possibly can so that they can spend it as they choose and have a better, more affordable, sustainable quality of life for them and for their children. That's math.
Member for Nelson Creston.
Madam Speaker, unfortunately, nothing what the Premier has said so far has provided any solace to Luke and Katie at this time. For 14 years, this government has been doing this maternity leave clawback. 2 years ago, Tabitha Naismith saw her maternity leave benefits clawed back when she had her daughter. Without her wage, without her maternity leave benefits, Tabitha struggled to put food on the table for herself and to clothe her newborn. And that is exactly what Katie and Luke are worried about. And they are not being left with more money in their pockets after their maternity leave benefits are going to be clawed back, Premier. Madam Speaker, if this government can find a break for the richest 2% in this province, why on earth are they creating more hardship for families like Katie and Luke's?
Yeah.
Madam Premier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In British Columbia, we have the lowest taxes in the country for anyone earning up to $121,000. And while taxes are higher in British Columbia for people who earn $122,000 and $23,000 than in other provinces, I want to assure the members opposite that if you earn $122,000 in British Columbia, contrary to their view, you are not a millionaire. Now, though we are trying to make sure that those people in the lowest income bracket have the lowest taxes anywhere in the country, up to $121,000, trying to make sure that we are creating jobs, which we are. $12.5 billion has already been spent on working to fill the ground and make sure that we are ready to host the most competitive LNG industry anywhere in the world. $12.5 billion in one industry that is on the cusp of being born alone. That doesn't count forestry, it doesn't count mining, it doesn't count the thousands of jobs that have been created in the resource sector. And I want to say this, Madam Speaker, I am quite confident